So here's what we want to talk about today. Because we work in the industry and because you have this great trainer going on and because Whitney's been recognized since the early days of social influencers.
The very beginning.
Are you still, relevant?
The what?
It's the early days.
Globally relevant now.
Yeah.
But the one thing that a lot of people always come to me with, and I'm sure you guys is, one, it's a general nutrition-oriented question. Like, I don't even know how to get my diet right, let alone do I know how to use all the supplements you guys make or when I should take things. So what I thought we could do as a company and as a group of three awesome dudes here is put some context onto how to structure a diet. And the good news is whether you're an advanced athlete or a beginner, you're still a human being. So the basic biology of it all is going to be the same, right? How to structure your diet and then where the supplements fit in and what fits in first and what do you do for weight loss? What do you do for muscle gain?
Well, then what's the beginning? If somebody's going to start off, obviously the first recommendation, if anybody's going to buy anything, it's going to be protein.
Well, even before you buy anything, I would start with this. People like us generally like to structure their diet where they figure out how many calories they're going to take for a day. And generally speaking, I would imagine it's going to be somewhere between maybe 1,500 on the low end if you're a very small person who isn't that active, and 3,800 on the high end if you're a bigger dude who is active. So you take your general calorie pool, then you break it up across your protein, fat, and carbohydrate. And in a perfect world, what I would say, and then I'll open it up to chat with you guys, you want your protein intake and your carbohydrate intake to be about parallel. This is for standard dieting.
Yeah.
And account for probably about 85% of your daily calories. And fat can come in, maybe 80, and fat could come in and account for the other 15 or 20%.
And that's, right now for the program, that's how I have it drawn up. But I take my bulk of the calories first thing in the morning with breakfast. And then it's like bird food all the way up until like dinner. So,
all right, so
is dinner post-workout?
Dinner most of the times is post cardio. So it'd be my last cardio session.
Okay.
And then I'll take on the carbohydrates at night. Obviously, because it would be I think it'd be an overkill sleeping after eating like 14 ounces of potato or whatever other starch you're gonna pound. So that's how the diet was drawn up for me.
Sure.
It's tough because in the beginning you're like, I can't eat all this food, but once you get into that midday point,
can't eat all that, Joe Rogan.
Once you get into it in the midday point, you're starving. You know what I mean?
Right.
And then night comes and you look at your plate and you're like, that's a lot of food. But after your workout, I mean, it goes down like nothing.
Well, you need that after your workout, right? Mm-hmm. So to go back to what Chris said, your starting point, like if you're looking for how many calories should I be taking in? Like, I don't even know where to start. Yeah. You need to figure out what your basal metabolic rate is, right?
Yes.
And you can find a BMR calculator online. I mean, it's not 100% accurate, but it's a good starting point. And you're going to put in your age, your weight, and then you take that number, and depending on like what your your activity level. So if you're sitting at an office chair all day and you're not working out, you're going to multiply it by, I don't know, whatever that number is. Or if you're fairly active, you multiply it by 1.5, whatever. And then that's your baseline caloric intake for the day, right?
Yeah.
So let's say if you come up with 2,500 as that number, that's what it's going to take to maintain your lifestyle, maintain your current body weight. You're not going to lose weight. You're not going to gain weight. Maybe you can do some body recomposition because of the type of calories that you're taking in. You can adjust. Mm-hmm. But if you want to lose weight, you want to deduct 300 to 400 calories from that. If you want to gain weight, you add 300 to 400 calories.
And then what I did also on that note as well too. So Javier obviously is running the diet for me, and he's been doing the body fat. He's been doing the body fat calibers and measurements on me. So what it happens is every week he'll go ahead and check that out, as opposed to me stepping on a scale and saying, okay, what's this, what's that, and this way I can get an accurate count on where my body fat is, and am I gaining muscle, and am I losing fat, and then according to that I'll go in and draw up again my protein intake and the carbohydrate intake.
So let's pause for 1 second. Our first key learning to building your diet out is figure out where you're starting from. And you can do that in two ways. One, add up all the calories you take in a day by tracking all the labels on all the food you consume, or 2, find a good calculator on the internet to calculate your basic caloric need and start from that. Every good diet starts from understanding where you're at the moment and then how to change it.
Yeah.
So that's the diet piece, and I don't want to go too deep into that because we are a supplement company. I want to talk about basically how to incorporate supplements into your healthy diet. But understanding where you're starting from is the first point. And then one final layer to that, adding your goal. So if you're trying to get stronger, you need to realize you're going to be working out a lot more. You might need to add some stuff.
Yeah.
If you're heavy and you're trying to lose body fat, you're going to need to take away some stuff. But let's get to the supplement part because this is what's fun. And I will start with number 1, protein. So protein powder, whether it's a whey powder or an isolate powder, which are very similar, they're milk-derived proteins. It's just a matter of how refined it is. Or if you don't like milk proteins, you can always use vegetable proteins, pea or whatever. We happen to here, I mean, I'm pretty comfortable with whey. I've been using it forever. I will use a protein supplement almost as one of my meals. So I'll take 2 scoops of, ISO HD, and maybe if I feel like spoiling myself, I put a little peanut butter or something in the blender with it. Sometimes almond milk or whole milk, but that's like a meal. So I'm going to add about 25 grams of protein per scoop. Take 2 scoops. That's going to be 50 grams of my protein. Protein has 4 calories per gram, so it's about a 200 calorie contribution to my day, and it's a nice way to keep my macros in line. And Whitney, I would throw it to you. The leanest I've ever seen you was when you did the Fitness RX shoot in 2014 or 15, whenever that was. What did you take protein-wise, either from Whole Foods or supplements back in that era?
So that particular diet was extremely focused on protein. I was very low on carbohydrates, and I didn't add a lot of fats either to make up for losing the calories from not taking in the carbs. So every meal was roughly 50 to 60 grams of protein.
Yep.
I would always, every single day was the same. In the mornings, I would have my oatmeal, and I would mix 2 scoops of our powder in. It was an isolate. I'd mix in the oatmeal, and then throughout the day, I would stagger between a shake or a protein powder and a whole food meal. So the next meal that would come up would be roughly 8 to 10 ounces of chicken breast and some vegetables. I would follow that up with a protein shake, and then I would go back to chicken breast or steak and vegetables, and then I would end the night with actually taking our whey protein and mixing it up like a pudding.
Yeah.
And then, well, where I stand, how I've been told to take our protein. I'm doing isolate now, and then since I do the dual training where I do fasted cardio, then I have my training and then cardio to keep up with the calories and obviously the protein intake. Immediately after training, I have a scoop of our protein, and then I do my cardio.
Right, I like that.
That's what I have to do, so I can make sure I match my body weight, because the carbs are easy. The carbs are easy to get to close to body weight, but the protein isn't.
All right, so let me pause for the second sidebar here. So what we're instructing, you kind of figure out where your calories are in the day. You know that protein has 4 calories per gram, carbs have 4 calories per gram, and fat has 9 calories per gram. So if you decide you need 3,000 calories, and you're going to break your diet up, and what I'm recommending for a basic diet is about 40% carbs, 40% protein, 20% fat for a basic diet. 20% of your 3,000 calories a day is whatever it is, because I'm terrible at math. You're going to break that up into a couple meals, and then
60.
So that's exactly what Whitney said. You want to take 50 to 60 grams of protein per meal, and what you did was turn to your supplements for 2 of the 8 meals during the day, because
3
because you used the powder. Sometimes you mixed it with a real food like an oatmeal, and the other times you went to chicken, steak, a really gross bag of tuna if you're in a pinch. So that's basically how you structure that protein side of your diet. Let's take keto dieting out of it because that's a specific thing. Real quick, carbohydrates are really easy. That's your grains, your pastas, your sugars. Obviously, you want to stay as far away from refined carbohydrates, as in simple sugars, corn syrup, white bread type stuff, and as much towards the whole grain side as possible. And we could go into that as its own discussion, so we'll just kind of skip out of that. And fat should be from unsaturated fat sources or the naturally occurring fat that you get with your whole proteins, like what's in salmon or beef, and that fills that. But the next step with the supplementation is reaching your goal. So now we've talked about incorporating a protein supplement, structuring your diet. Now is that last magical mile, because up until this far, everyone's journey is going to be pretty much the same.
Yeah.
How do you go to where you want to go? So, Abe, let me ask you, what's your goal at the moment, and why don't you say 2 or 3 of the BPI supplements you're using to help you reach that goal?
All right, so my goal is like kind of like in that fantasy realm.
Total
you usually
awesomeness?
yeah, pretty much.
Hold on.
110% awesomeness.
You're trying to put on muscle and lose body fat. That's the magical realm.
Boosting my credit score and possibly gaining some hair back. So that's all in the mix. But either somebody wants to lose weight or build muscle. I'm in the in-between. I want to drop
body composition,
body
let's
fat.
call it that.
Yeah, there we go, body composition. That's exactly it. So that's where I stand. And right now I'm using 3 supplements, which would be the ISO HD that I mentioned, the 1 More Rep Complete, and the Best BCAAs Recharge.
So 1 More Rep Complete is what?
Our pre-workout, obviously.
Okay. So value of a pre-workout supplement to those who are new to the game? When
dieting, and like I said, those few meals that are in the middle, like once those carbs start to wear down, I mean, we all work. We work, we go to school, we have to take care of business. And the fact of the matter is, a few cups of coffee aren't going to get us through the day. So stepping into the gym, obviously this is something that's going to provide you with more energy to better your performance and endurance, obviously boost recovery as well too, because it's going to provide you with some pumps and your mental focus. You're wiped out from the day. This is something that's going to drive you through the workout and make it that much easier.
Right, but it's not just an energy product, right? So we're going to have some ingredients that are going to help with performance,
yes,
which is very important. Right?
Yeah,
it's not just a straight.
Yeah, it's going to be performance, endurance. It's not going to be something that's going to just get you all wired up.
Hey, does everyone need a pre-workout?
No, not really. I mean, some people can just easily storm through the workouts, no problem. And again, like we discussed, the foods naturally should fuel you and give you that energy. But again, this isn't Europe and we don't get a siesta here, so if you're not a grown man taking a 3-hour nap, nothing against a siesta.
Where's Dennis?
Unfortunately here, most of us get 30 to 40, maybe an hour lunch break if we're lucky, and
right, you got to get back to it.
You got to get back to it.
All right, and BCAAs is your other one you mentioned.
Yeah.
What is a BCAA and why do you use it?
So pretty much your branched chain amino acids are going to be the 3 aminos that obviously are going to boost up your anabolic rate as far as recovery and muscle growth, and they're the 3 the body lacks the most or the least you get from foods. So obviously in taking your branched chain amino acids, along with, we also have other rehydrating ingredients in there, coconut water, the works, to run you through your workout so you don't get completely wiped out. I mean, it'll be a better toned off Gatorade.
Yeah. Right.
Without the sugars, so you won't have to cut out calories from your diet, and this is something you could definitely sip on whether you're hungry, just to change your palate from drinking gallons of water throughout the day. And again, it's just something I like to take during my workout to just better my performance in the gym, and also it's going to pay the benefit out of the gym as well too, especially that time where I got to drink my ISO HD right after the workout.
So let me pause here for the next sidebar.
Mm-hmm.
You have actually a very great and basic and universally appealing supplement stack because you are going for a body composition message. Obviously, always incorporating a protein is a huge, great first step. Then you look to a pre-workout product because 1, it makes you get in the gym and maximize your time there. And 2, it has other components like a citrulline, for example, that promote muscle recovery and endurance and such. That's a great stack. Whit, you and I have both worked to get super lean, worked to get super strong. You want to take one of those and talk about some supplements, and I'll roll in the other direction.
Yeah, so I'll take trying to get strong because I'm trying to get strong again right now.
And you're better at it than I
No.
am.
The product that I've been using recently, trying to put on some more mass, trying to get my bench press back up, trying to, after years after hurting myself, trying to bring my squat and my deadlift back to where it used to be. My go-to product is Strength Gains.
Wait, no, it's cool, Dennis. We're just filming a video. Okay. Is what?
Strength gains.
Perfect.
And I also incorporate, even with our strength gains, our creatine monohydrate. So I think those two products are key, especially creatine monohydrate, for putting on strength and putting on size.
So the studies that I've seen said you need at least 3 grams of creatine for effectivity. In the old days, everyone used to take 10.
Mm-hmm.
So the jury's still out, and I don't think we should recommend a specific gram because we don't want the liability of it. But I will tell you this. I take 10 grams a day when I want to get strong, and that shit works.
It works.
So there you go.
It's proven. It's the most studied ingredient in the supplement world. We know it works. I've been using it off and on since I've been 15 years old. So, like, what's your famous story? Everybody, the week creatine came out.
That shit came out, and everyone's bench pressing up 10 pounds. The entire state of New Jersey went from 315 to 335. So creatine for strength?
So creatine for strength, and then a protein powder. Our Whey HD is great. On top of that, that's really it. I mean, I add some amino acids throughout the day, but those are the 3 main products for putting on strength for me. I'm not a stimulant person, so I don't take a lot of pre-workouts.
Right. So when I try and get lean, obviously, just like you heard, normal guy, strength focused, protein, getting lean, protein. Same thing, the first supplement you buy. We do have a lot of supplements that help dieters. Some are specific to the ketogenic space. I think the 3 of us leverage the philosophy of keto in that you want to keep your blood sugar low and you're not taking a lot of carbohydrates because of that. Mm-hmm. But a true ketogenic diet is structured as 70% fat, 20% protein, 5% carb. Yeah. As a wannabe bodybuilder or an actual bodybuilder, I don't think anybody can just, it's like leaning back in a chair and then you think you're going to fall over. Right. Nobody can get to that 70 grams of, or 70% fat in a day. I would be too scared. Yeah. But those principles do apply in keeping your blood sugar low. For dieting, though, you may want to use a pre-workout, but if you don't use a pre-workout, you could use a diet pill. Because the energy components in the diet pill, caffeine or whatever else it may be, there are a lot of the same energy components that give you energy in the pre-workout. We don't recommend you use both at once because it's just a lot of caffeine and it might tweak you out. We have some industry-leading diet pills, like Roxylene's been a winner for what feels like 100 years, probably like a decade. Our newest diet product called Keto Weight Loss, which is a thermogenic with the caffeine component, but then it also includes something called a BHB salt, which is a ketone to help you burn fat. That's another one that I use a lot. And then the other thing...
Use that even on keto?
Yeah, even not on keto, man. BHB salts, they also give you a lot of energy in the gym. I mean, they're an energy driver. When you talk to the guys that have the patent on the BHB salts, they'll brainwash it. I mean, you're going to go home and think like you should be sprinkling your salad.
I thought the pink Himalayan salt was enough.
Man.
And the BCAAs are usually I go to Whit's desk and as it's fresh.
You go get the salt.
Yeah, so I just...
But then another great product for weight loss is our CLA and carnitine. So CLA and carnitine is a 1-2 punch of amino acids and fatty acids that basically help break up stored body fat and then burn that stored body fat for energy. Our CLA and carnitine product is like the #1 selling CLA carnitine product in the United States. Yeah. Often imitate it, never duplicate it. To all our friends out there. But no, it's a great product, and it also encourages you to do one of the other great components of dieting, which is drink a lot of fluid.
Yep.
Yeah.
So, in conclusion, the basics of dieting are very universal for the first 1, 2, 3, 4 steps. Clean diet, know your calories, manage your protein, fat, carbohydrate, be in control. The next part is identify where your goal is, and whether it's body composition, getting stronger, or getting leaner, pick the supplements that help, and hopefully this video gave you some of the context to understand what products fall into what categories and how to finish off your diet. I should add, if you want personalized help on how to build your diet and training routine, feel free to call the office and ask for Arthur. Arthur's here as a resource to any BPI consumer. He'll help you with product guidance, as much training guidance as we're legally allowed to give. And he's a great resource. He just deadlifted 605 pounds yesterday and didn't complain about it, so he's a good guy to take advice from. 954-926-0900 is the office number, and we're here to help. So I hope that was good context for everybody, and Abe, I wish you luck on your body composition journey.
It's going pretty damn well.
You're looking ripped.